is expected to deliver a memorial lecture on the life and times of the late struggle stalwart Mama Albertina Sisulu. This as the Eastern Cape is hosting the provincial centenary celebrations in honor of the struggle icon. The celebrations take place at Xolobeni village in Tsomo, where Mama grew up. A toy library, housing provision, water and electricity provisions are some of the projects that are expected to be implemented in honor of Mama Sisulu. Well, for this story, we cross to our reporter Busisiwe Jemsana-Mantashe, who's standing by for us. Busisiwe, over to you.
A very good day, Nompu. We're coming to you live from Xolobeni, where Mama Albertina Sisulu grew up. It is extremely hot here, Nompu, but thousands have braved the sunny weather conditions to come and gather and celebrate what they term as one of their own. They are saying that Mama Sisulu remains theirs. She might have belonged to the country at large, but she remains a local of Xolobeni, and today they are saying we honor you, Mama, and we want to see many more Masisulus in our generation. The toy library has been launched in Nompu, a school here, the school named after Mama Albertina Sisulu Junior Primary School, now has a toy library. The government, the provincial government, is saying that because Mama was so close to young people, was so close to babies as a nurse herself, they are trying to say the upbringing, the early stages of any child are very crucial, and therefore such are important, especially in a rural area like Xolobeni. Science libraries also on the cards, the housing department also coming into play. We also know that water and electricity connection are also on the cards. We heard today that they were saying that the first step should be fixing the roads that are linking to this rural area, and also Mama, where Umama grew up. But as you said, Nompu, former IEC chairperson Dr. Brigalia Bam will be delivering a memorial lecture on the life and times of Umama, and she joins me now to tell us about Umama, where she comes from. Doc, thank you so much for your time. When we speak of Mama Sisulu, what can we draw from her? What kind of a leader are we talking about?
We are talking about a leader, a woman, which is very important because all women in the world are cradles of humanity. And Mama Sisulu, in every respect, remained so for the rest of her life. People were important in Mama Sisulu's life, no matter who they were, no matter where they came from, whether they were urban, rural, whether they were adults, whether they were young people. And that is important. The second most important about Mama Sisulu was her humility. Because of her humility and respect, she was then able to be a person that many of us who knew her could look up to her with pride. And today it's a very special day for many of us who have been talking about Mama Sisulu, that we are in fact privileged to be at her roots, to be at a place where her own ancestors were. And we are part of this wonderful ritual that this woman who meant so much, the matriarch of the continent. Mrs. Sisulu doesn't belong to us only. She belongs to the continent. And her nurturing and commitment to the generations, even at the time, that's why she was able to train young people, believed in education, great supporter of health, not only because she was a trained nurse, she was also able to do a lot of what is now referred to primary health care. Before there was that concept, Mama Sisulu knew that mothers must know more than just the drugs they get from hospital, but they must understand the totality of that. And we are looking for that kind of leadership. And we're hoping the generations to come can have this one leader, that they can remember those important things, those values that she nurtured, her own integrity, and a brave person. Mama Sisulu was courageous. To be able, at that time, with all the challenges she had, on her own, with a father of her children, in prison for many, many years. Anything in life that means over 20 years, for any person to bring children on your own was something else. And in those long years, you are harassed. you are humiliated, but you were able to keep your dignity in spite of that. They were never able to destroy that woman's soul. She kept intact until the very end of her life. And so that's a kind of a legacy that we talk about when you talk about Mrs. Sisulu. And to many women, she is a model that we hope even the generations to come will copy. This wonderful model of this wonderful woman who could be everywhere and everything. She could be in politics. People like Sisulu are people who have opened doors for women in politics. There was a tradition and an understanding in the patriarch world that politics are for men. But Sisulu is one of those people who have broken the walls so that today many women in our country and everywhere can say, I have a space in the public forum.
And you speak of her having raised her children after Utata Sisulu was arrested, but she started earlier than that. We know she wanted to be a teacher, but had to give up on her dreams in order for her to raise her siblings after her parents passed away. How important is to have that trait, especially of sacrificing, when we talk about a leader?
When we talk about a leader, one of the challenges in leadership is how do you remain anchored first and foremost to your own family, and you are able also to give quality time, attention and love to the public. There is always a conflict of time with people. There is a conflict of your own emotional love, and those things are not easy for people that you try to lead, but you also want to remain real. You know, you're not a fake. You are still an ordinary person. You are still an ordinary mother. You are still an educationist. You still have to do ordinary things of life. It is that kind of leadership that people still can look up to you, that you are not somebody too distant. And that is one of the things that is important with Sisulu during those long, difficult years. The years of apartheid were difficult years in this country for many mothers, for many women in this nation.
And when you speak of leaders, it being difficult to draw the line, to stay away from saying, I'm still a mother, I'm still a wife, there's my family, they are struggling, there is this. Where do leaders draw the line then in terms of trying to distance themselves from corruption? Because we see more often than not leaders involved in corrupt activities, trying to enrich themselves and their families.
I think that is a different one. The time management of your love and your space is different from greediness and integrity. You have to learn to be truthful, first and foremost to yourself. You can't be truthful to everybody else. If you are not truthful to yourself, to say, I do not want to steal money. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. If you do not have that as a person, of course you will be all over the place. That if there is money to be stolen that belongs to people, you will move because you don't anymore know who you are. You don't have values, you don't have an integrity, and you think you must move. Or if then there's too much, then you must grab. You must grab. And that is not really the problem that happens only to women. That happens to human beings. That the minute you lose the self-understanding and the self-respect, and you must operate on that level with a lot of restraint. Restraint on many things. And the hardest restraint is also money. That is the hardest. Because money has come to our altars. We worship money. And the money has come. And we begin to feel as a people who are free that money is our freedom. And so that is another challenge of the future.
And Sisulu was never that leader. Dr. Bam
was never, at a time when she was desperate, she was never that person. And that's what we will always remember her for.
Thank you so much for your time, Doc. I'm sure we can talk the whole day, and a befitting person to talk about Sisulu, Dr. Brigalia Bam. We know her as being very active in the fight against the women oppression, has been involved in a number of NGOs, in a number of campaigns to try and develop and to say that women can do it. And as she put it, that Sisulu was a selfless, humble leader who belonged to all, and not just only people here in Xolobe, but also people at the country at large. And at a time where she was desperate to get things, she remained true to herself. Back to you in studio, Nombu.
Thanks very much for that, Busisiwe.